Hey guys, today I wanted to show you what kind of supplements I've been taking and go over a little bit of what I've done to change my medication over the last year.
I'm Natalie, the Ardent Autist, and I am fat, sick, and fed up.
First off, we've got a multivitamin here. This is just the generic Walmart brand for adults, and it's been fairly decent so far, but it doesn't cover everything, so I take some more stuff on top of it. Next is the vitamin C. I've actually been taking this ever since I went low carb because the last time I did a low carb, I really craved citrus and I didn't feel right. Something was just always off. And when I started taking vitamin C, that feeling got a lot better and I started to have more energy. And I'm taking one per day of those 1000 milligram vitamin C's. Next is the synergistic glucosamine. I do like the glucosamine and chondroitin, but we ordered these by mistake actually the first time. They came in a 2-pack, so I'm just finishing these off before I transition over to the other ones. This magnesium I'm taking just for all of the muscle spasms and my muscles locking up. And since I've been taking one of these per day, that has actually improved, at least somewhat, since I can't do Epsom salt baths like I used to. Vitamin B1, thiamine. This is something that was suggested for people to take when they have neurological problems. I actually found this from a few different sources, and I will be providing some studies and some other sources in future videos, and probably on my website when I get that up and going. I had to start taking this one every 3 days because when I had my lab work done, my thiamine levels were really high. So now I'm not taking it daily. Then there's the K2 plus D3. To begin with, I was just taking the D3. That was also 5,000 IUs, but I was told that it would be better to take that with K2, so I started taking this one. NAC or N-acetylcysteine is another one that I was recommended for neurological problems and especially cognitive problems associated with neurological disorders. So I started taking one of these per day and worked up to two because the dosage recommended is actually two of these per day. And since I've started taking these, my brain fog has drastically improved. Then there's the allergy medicine. So this is the daytime. It's supposed to not make you drowsy because I really don't need more of that. And it does help a lot with the brain fog on top of all of the allergy symptoms. So I think the allergy symptoms are somewhat related to the brain fog. And it doesn't matter if I stay indoors or go outside, as I am pretty much housebound most of the time. Aside from like going out to doctor's appointments or running an errand here and there, I'm in the house. I just try to get outside to get sunlight whenever I can manage it. But even if I don't do that, I always feel like I have allergies. Medications I don't take daily are things like sumatriptan, which is an abortive medication for migraines and cluster headaches, so that's taken as needed. Then there's this, it's the Walmart brand equivalent of Excedrin Extra Strength. Excedrin migraine does not work for me at all. It's basically just useless. I'm not really sure why there's such a difference there aside from the fact that the capsules are coated, or the tablets are coated, I should say. I'm not sure if they're capsules now. I haven't taken it in a long time. But these ones are uncoated, so it might be an absorption issue or maybe the like how long it takes. But this takes the edge off when I have a migraine that is still persisting in, say, stabby pain. Usually it's stabby pain after I've taken the sumatriptan. Then there's the straight acetaminophen or Tylenol, the Walmart brand Tylenol, which is good for pretty much all of the muscle pains and aches, which I get a lot of with like the tremors that I get, especially in the head and neck, causes a lot of pain in my neck and my shoulders. And sometimes when it becomes really unbearable and I'm going to be up and about for a while, I use this just to kind of take the edge off a little bit. And then when I go to bed, I have little patches, they're pain patches that I can put on my neck or on my shoulders if I need to. Then there's Viberzi. This is also as needed, but this is for IBS diarrhea type. It is extremely effective for me. I have to be careful not to take more than one of these unless I absolutely have to, because it'll cause the IBS to go the other way to constipation. I'm sure all of you wanted to know all about that, right? And then we have the probiotic that I usually forget to take. I do think these are very important, especially if you don't get enough fermented foods in your diet, which is kind of here and there for me, just because my functionality fluctuates so much from day to day. Usually I try to get in like some sauerkraut, kimchi, or, whatever's appropriate. But some days I can't do anything except maybe eat out of a can. As for pharmaceutical medications, I have effectively tapered off of all of them except for the ones that I take as needed, like the sumatriptan. To begin with, I was on cyclobenzaprine. Flexeril is what people usually call it, and that's a lot easier for me to remember. I was taking that for the muscle spasms to begin with. Flexeril was prescribed by my PCP last year when all of this started, back in January of 2025, and he told me that was because of the spasticity that he found around my neck, the base of my skull, and into my shoulders. Later, when I got a second PCP, that's a whole story, but basically I had two different insurances, and the second insurance wanted me to see a different PCP, so I went and saw her, and she turned out to be absolutely awesome. But she switched me from the Flexeril to baclofen, saying that baclofen was actually better for controlling the spasms that stem from neurological problems. When she suggested the baclofen to me, I just went with it because I was so desperate for anyone in the medical field to just do anything that would help, and I didn't research it first. Normally, before I take any medication, I do research because I really want to know what it is that I'm taking and to make sure that it's not going to interact with anything else that I'm taking, even though the pharmacist and the doctor or nurse practitioner in this case should be able to tell you that. It is entirely possible that they may not know about an interaction, and I'm extremely sensitive to drugs. I mean the legal kind of drugs, okay, guys? Get your minds out of the gutter. I was basically one step up from the lowest dose because I had started on the lowest dose and then just decided, okay, I'll try a little bit more. And it was really effective. I can't even begin to describe how debilitating the muscle spasms and the way that they cramp up afterward can be. People who have that, I'm sure, can really understand. But the dose that I was taking started to become pretty much ineffective. So I looked it up and I realized, oh no, you can develop a tolerance to it, which is something that I don't want any part of. I don't want to take any drugs like that. But I also found out that if you decide to taper off of baclofen, you have to do it very, very slowly and be very careful because you can have serious side effects from the withdrawal. So even though I hadn't been taking it very long, I did a very long taper. It took me 2 months. So I had taken it a little bit over a month, and I tapered off for 2 months just to be absolutely sure that I wouldn't have any really horrible effects, although I did still have withdrawal symptoms. And then there was the topiramate. So that was prescribed to me as a maintenance medicine for my migraine disorder, and it was actually pretty good. It wasn't the best I've ever taken, but it did have a decent effect in reducing the intensity of the migraines. They were still just as frequent, but it didn't completely take away all of the pain and everything. All of the other symptoms, aside from pain, I get no matter what I take. So it's just the pain, basically, that I'm trying to mitigate with medication. But I found out that topiramate can actually cause a symptom that I thought was completely being caused by my neurological disorder, and it turned out that the medication was just kind of adding on to it. And that's all of the cognitive symptoms that make you feel like you have dementia. Apparently topiramate is kind of well known for doing that to people. So I was on, again, actually it wasn't the lowest dose, it was a step up from the lowest dose for the topiramate. and I just started tapering off of that. I did that after the baclofen. I didn't want to do them simultaneously. So I did the baclofen first because that seemed like the most dangerous one, and then the topiramate. I did. I gave myself a few weeks of a break before I started tapering off of that, and that only took me a month to taper off. So I finished tapering off of the topiramate in February, and since then my cognitive symptoms have definitely improved. I do still have them. I have a neurological disorder that causes that, apparently, so it's not completely gone away, but I don't feel like I have dementia all day, every day. It's just little moments when I forget what I'm doing, or I forget like what day of the week it is, or which month it is, and that only lasts for a second. Interestingly, my boyfriend had been taking topiramate for years, which is part of why I thought I might as well just give it a try. And he had had decent results with it, or so I thought. But when I told him about the research that I had read talking about it causing dementia symptoms, he had been experiencing some of that himself, and he doesn't have a neurological disorder. So he started tapering off just after I did, and he's definitely seen the same effects. His cognition is improving steadily. I want to make it clear that I'm not telling anybody what they should or shouldn't take. This is just my experience. And I do think that it is important to take medications when you absolutely need them. And if you think that you need to get off of medications for any reason, like maybe they're causing some nasty side effects, or you just rather not have to depend on them, I would definitely recommend doing that with the supervision of a medical professional like I've been doing. I am looking into some other supplements and things that I'll be trying out to try and just get better in whatever way I possibly can from this horrible neurological disease. Part of what I was looking into is called the COVID protocol, which I will be sharing on my channel. The N-acetylcysteine is actually something that I partially found because of the COVID protocol. I was reading some other studies also, but people kept pointing to that, so I had to look into it. And maybe, this is long COVID. I really think it's ME/CFS, and long COVID is basically another sort of variation of that, but the research is still kind of up in the air. One of the things that I'd like to try next is nattokinase. If I can get a hold of some natto, that would be awesome. But in Illinois, I really don't know how likely that is, so I might be stuck trying to get a hold of some nattokinase. And I'm also looking into a few other things on the protocol and some other stuff that's kind of referenced in some studies about ME/CFS and long COVID and what people were treated with just to make some of their symptoms better. So I'm going to definitely be covering that on my channel. I just haven't fully decided on what I'm going to try first. If you have a neurological disorder, what kind of supplements or any kind of medications do you take to make things better? And what kind of differences have you noticed? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode of Fat, Sick, and Fed Up.